The whispering pines of Yosemite. The mist curled like ghostly fingers through the towering sequoias, winding around the jagged granite cliffs of Yosemite, casting eerie shapes against the early morning twilight. It was here, in the sacred heart of the valley, that Isabella Reyes found herself standing at the precipice of a mystery that had haunted her bloodline for generations. She was not supposed to be here, yet an unseen force had drawn her, whispering to her in dreams, beckoning her toward something lost, something buried beneath the roots of time. Her fingers trembled as she clutched the worn leather journal that had been passed down from her great-grandmother, detailing an ancient legend hidden within the park's vast wilderness. A legend of love, tragedy, and an unsolved disappearance from over a century ago. Isabella had spent years dismissing it as folklore, until last week when she received a letter with no return address, containing only a single sentence: "Find the tree of echoes before the shadows do." A rustling in the underbrush made her heart lurch. She turned sharply, her breath hitching. "Who's there?" The silence that followed was thick, unnatural. A deer darted through the clearing, its eyes wide with something akin to fear. Was it just the solitude playing tricks on her mind, or was she truly being watched? She swallowed hard, pushing forward into the depths of the park, her boots crunching against the damp forest floor. As the sun broke through the morning fog, the valley transformed from an ominous labyrinth into a breathtaking dreamscape, yet a chilling undercurrent of dread lingered in the air. The journal described a secluded glade deep in the woods where time was said to stand still, where those who entered often never returned. If the legend was true, then that was where she would find the answers. She had barely gone another mile when she spotted him. A man standing at the edge of a reflective pool, his back turned to her. He was dressed in an old-fashioned ranger uniform, the fabric slightly translucent in the morning light. A whisper of wind carried a voice to her ears. "You're late." Isabella's stomach clenched. She had heard stories of the ghost of Yosemite, a lonely spirit doomed to wander the valley. But ghosts weren't real, were they? She took a hesitant step forward. "Who are you?" The man turned, his eyes deep pools of sorrow and something else. Recognition. "I've been waiting for you, Isabella." The ground beneath her seemed to sway. "How do you know my name?" He gestured to the journal in her hands. "Because we've met before." Her pulse thundered in her ears. "That's impossible." He extended his hand, and when his fingers brushed hers, a vision exploded in her mind. Images of another time, another life. A century ago, she was Eleanor Hayes, a woman betrothed to a man she did not love. She had met James Whitaker, a park ranger, in this very glade, and their love had ignited like fire against the cold backdrop of societal expectations. They planned to run away together, but on the eve of their escape, something dark intervened. A presence in the forest, ancient and vengeful, had taken her, swallowing her soul into the trees, leaving James to wander the earth, searching for her across lifetimes. And now the cycle had come full circle. "You must remember," James pleaded, his voice trembling with desperation. "You have to break the curse before it's too late." Isabella's mind spun as the memories intertwined with her reality, two worlds colliding. She had thought she was solving a family mystery, but the truth was far more terrifying. She was reliving it. The sky darkened as an unnatural wind howled through the trees. Shadows slithered across the ground, taking form, their whispers clawing at her sanity. "She belongs to us," the voices hissed. James stepped in front of her, his form flickering. "Run, Isabella," but she couldn't run. Not this time. If she fled now, the cycle would never break. She closed her eyes, reaching deep into the buried memories of Eleanor. She had fought back then, and she would fight now. She clutched the journal, the ink glowing faintly in the moonlight. The final entry, one she had never been able to decipher, suddenly made sense. Light dispels shadow. Love defies time. Gathering every ounce of courage, she spoke the words aloud. A burst of golden light erupted from the pages, cutting through the darkness, sending the wraith-like figures shrieking into the abyss. The ground trembled, the trees groaned, and then silence. When Isabella opened her eyes, the glade was bathed in dawn's gentle light. James stood before her, no longer a ghost, but flesh and blood, his eyes brimming with awe and love. "You did it," he whispered. She reached for him, and this time he did not vanish. He was real. She was real. The past had finally released them. As they stepped forward together, hand in hand, a new chapter began. One where love conquered the darkness, where curses were broken, and where the whispering pines of Yosemite finally sang a song of peace. And somewhere in the depths of the valley, the spirits of those long-lost watched with quiet reverence, knowing that at long last, the tale was complete.
Whispering echoes.